Call this meeting to order. Stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mrs. Hawkins?
Here.
Mr. Salcido?
Here.
Mr. Mitchell?
Here.
Ms. Dozal?
Here. We're good with that. Call for a moment of silence, please. Number 2, preliminary items. Move to adopt the agenda of September 4th, 2018 as presented.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Dozal?
Item number B, minutes from prior meetings. Move to approve the minutes August 7th and 15th, 2018 as presented.
I move that we approve the presented minutes as presented. Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Dozal?
Yes. Number 3, recognitions for the CTE Student of the Month. Mr. Sykes?
Thank you, Dr. Beebe, board members. This evening, I'm honored to recognize Adriana Favela as September's Career and Technical Education Student of the Month. Adriana was nominated by her technical theater teacher, Mrs. Kathy Harding at Vista Grande High School. Mrs. Harding shared these words with me. Adriana has done much to distinguish herself from her peers through her high school career. Her professionalism and perfectionism have helped make significant strides in the elevation of the Vista Grande Technical Theater Program and has led its CTSO chapter, Skills USA, in achieving chapter of distinction for the state of Arizona for the past 2 years, as well as earning Skills USA chapter first place winner in the state of Arizona. Adriana has worked tirelessly to support various events this year for both theater and non-theater productions such as registration band and dance concerts, lip sync battle, Mr. Spartan, LipCon, VG guest presenters, and more. She has volunteered numerous hours after school and on weekends preparing for these events. Our program can always count on Adriana for her leadership and expertise. She is our go-to student for all aspects of technical theater. So Adriana, congratulations. And I believe Adriana's family's here with us.
Thank you, Dr. Beebe.
Good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir. Number 4, public comment. We don't have any pink slips, so there is no call to the public. Number 5, item A is the superintendent's report.
Well, members of the governing board, President Mitchell, it is my pleasure to give you my report for the last month, and it's hard to believe that it is already September the 4th and we are a month into school, so we're moving along. This last month, it's been a busy month, but a fun month for me as I've gotten to get out and be more of a part of the community. I had a chance to meet with Danny Ortega. I joined him for lunch and had a chance to talk to him. He is here relocated from APS, And one of the things he was interested in talking with me about are potential jobs that APS is going to have that might meet the needs of some of our students who are graduating and looking for jobs. So I've already had a chance to mention this to both of our principals, and we're going to be looking to get him out and APS out when we do our career fairs at the schools, and they'll actually do a demonstration and everything else just to give some interest, and again, just some other opportunities for our kids and that might be looking for a career with APS as they finish high school. So I'm excited about that opportunity. Had a chance to meet with Mayor McFarland and Larry Raines to discuss the internship program and talking with them a little bit about internships. And this, again, another potential for our kids to get out and have some active internships in the community and really get to those real world experiences with kids. They're going to have 5 positions right now at the city, and a couple of them may not be appropriate for high school kids. They may be college age students, but they will definitely have some. And looking to, they're both going to help me as far as kind of identifying some other community businesses and other places where we might develop some internships for our kids. So had a chance to look at that. I had a chance to attend my first Pinal County Superintendent's meeting in Florence, and had a chance to meet the superintendents from all of our feeder schools now. So to be able to, our feeder districts, to be able to put a name and a face to the superintendents behind the elementary districts. And again, looking forward to meeting all of them and being able to collaborate with them and see what we can do to get some vertical articulation going between teachers in those districts and teachers in our districts to help our kids as they transition. I had a chance to attend the Biz Outlook luncheon on August 17th, and Nancy was there as well. And that was an interesting, we had a guest speaker there, and it was very interesting. His whole speech, is talking about what employers are looking for, and one of the things employers are looking for in students that they're lacking are people. And one of the things that he came out across the board was that the communication skills were the one skill set that was lacking in most students. And so really, what can we do to improve communication skills with our students to give them a leg up as they're looking into the community? But all kinds of walks of life, and even from technical fields, everything else, communication and the lack of ability to have communication, seems to be, a big deal. I had a chance to meet a couple of weeks ago with Evelyn Kasuga and Paul Mullen, and so we now officially have a PAC president and a treasurer. And yes, CGUHSD is official, and we now have an approved and executed IGA for the election. So we have the people in place now, so we can get the ball rolling and get moving with the work that needs to be done there. I also had the opportunity to spend time walking classrooms at Union, at Vista, and here at Desert Winds. And I can just tell you, in the short time I've been here and the time that I've been able to be on campuses, I've got to experience some great teaching going on in the classroom. So it's been a lot of fun to be in classrooms and just see the things that kids are doing and learning. And for me to get there to see the teachers and their abilities in our district. I had a chance to meet with eSchool View, and one of the things I talked to you as a governing board about is what we could do to improve our website and make it a little more user-friendly and bring it up to date where it's a little more modern. And so we've had a chance to work with them, and we're looking for a mock-up. They're going to be doing a mock-up pretty quick of our ideas and our thoughts on a new look for our website that might be a little more user-friendly and much easier to find things on for both our students, our parents, community members, and then prospective students in our district. I attended the grand opening of the Saguaro Elementary and Casa Grande Middle School last week, and that was a really neat event to see the community come out to support those two schools in a new look for our elementary district. But what was really neat about being there is that the Union High JROTC Marine Corps presented the colors for the meeting. So it was neat to see our kids out and involved in the community. I'm happy to say that athletics are off and running at all of our schools, and we're having some great success early. I've had a chance to tweet several different things out on that. And being that, high school football right now, Union High is 3-0 on the season, and Vista Grande is 2-1. So we're off to a good start and continuing on with that. We received word from the Pinal County that the resolution to cancel the election for our board positions would be on the agenda for the upcoming meeting tomorrow. So what we anticipate will happen at that agenda, they will vote to cancel the election, and that Mr. Joe Lopez and Tony will be officially appointed to the two open positions we have, and no need for an election this year. And finally, I would just like to say that I am happy to now announce that I have now been a resident of Casa Grande for almost 2 weeks. And my wife and I are very excited to finally be here and to be able to be a part of the community. And we look forward to this endeavor over the next chapter of our lives. But it was nice. I was telling Mary I finally went home and I actually had dinner with my wife and came back to the meeting tonight. So that was a nice change of pace. So that is my report.
Thank you.
Sounds like a good one, thank you. Item number B is we have a presentation of Judy Jackson on behalf of the Chief Pinal. Thank you.
President Mitchell, members of the board, Dr. Beebe, thank you for having me here this evening. First of all, I really want to congratulate you all for the great job you've done in finding a brand new superintendent. We have really enjoyed meeting Dr. Beebe, and we are very excited in our elementary school district to work more closely with your district. We think that'll be just a great bridge to build between the two school districts, and we see that there's such tremendous benefit for our mutual students that we're really excited for that opportunity. So congratulations for the great job you guys have done in that selection, and welcome Dr. Beebe. And thank you for coming to our brand new school opening. I saw you there. I really appreciate you being there.
My pleasure.
I'm really honored to be here tonight to talk to the governing board about Achieve Pinal. And Achieve Pinal, you may have heard about it in the community. It's an initiative that is housed under the Pinal Alliance for Economic Growth. We've been very honored to have Glenda Cole has been a member of our committee since the onset, which was in May of 2017. So we're just over a year and a half into our existence. We're a group of 15 volunteer leaders that represent business, education, government, nonprofits, and we are a volunteer group with no money and no paid staff. So we have a lot of great spirit and enthusiasm, and we're working with very good intentions for the students of Pinal County. We're supporting a statewide direction that has been created by Achieve 60AZ. I'm sure many of you have heard of it because they have created the North Star goal that we are all following in the state of Arizona. And that's that 60% of Arizona's adults aged 25 to 64 will be equipped with a professional certificate or a 2 or 4 year degree by the year 2030. 60%. Where are we currently? The state of Arizona is at 43%. Where are we in Pinal County? 29%. And so that's why our committee has been formed. We have a two-prong approach. We want to work to improve educational attainment in Pinal County so that we can meet that 60% goal by the year 2030. And we also want to work to have a ready workforce in Pinal County for the many jobs that we anticipate coming here. I'm sure that it's no secret to any of you that you've heard about the potential for jobs coming from Lucid Motors or Atessa or Phoenix Smart or Dreamport Village. Those are to name a few. There are many others that are looking at our region. We must accept that we are so perfectly located between two metropolitan areas. And as those areas grow, they will converge in Casa Grande. And there will be many opportunities for us to have new employment for our people in Pinal County. Will we be ready? Will we be ready to have a qualified workforce for those jobs? Or will we be importing workers from Maricopa County and Pima County to take our jobs? We've waited a long time for those good jobs to come here. And we really want to work to have our own people ready and qualified for those jobs. Statistically, there's a direct relationship between people who have jobs and people who are unemployed and people who are educated. It's probably not a big guess to guess who are the people that are more likely to be employed. They're the people that have more education. The more education you have, the greater likelihood you will have to have a job, especially going forward in the future. By the time today's preschoolers complete high school, 7 out of every 10 jobs are going to require some form of higher education. We're living through unprecedented change, and the pace is accelerating in the way the workforce is changing. Some of us may, in this room, some of you may not remember this, but there was a time where there was a job when you would drive into a gas station and you would pull up and someone would come out and fill your car up with gas and put air in your tires and wash your window. How many of you remember that job? Yeah. Some of you are probably going, what? I don't ever remember that job. But as you know, technology came and replaced that job. That job is no longer there. And as we have moved along from those late 70s, early 80s, the pace at which jobs changed is accelerating. I've retired from an electric utility, which my good friend Mary here has also a connection with as well. And I remember when I was working, they came to us and they said, you know, we are going to have a new technology that's going to replace all meter reader jobs. For those of you who might remember meter readers who used to come into your yard and look at your meter and read it so they could generate a bill for you every month. And I mean, that's the foundation of our company, was to generate that bill every month. And we're like, how are you going to do that without all these people? Well, it's going to be automated. That meter is going to upload those reads efficiently, correct, every single time. We won't need trucks for all these people to be out in the field. I mean, the costs and the exposure for employee safety was extremely improved. And within 5 years, those jobs were gone. And to all of those employees, the company offered, you know, going back to school, helping to retool these employees. It was really difficult for them to envision themselves in a different kind of job. That example is what we're seeing more and more of every single day. Even today, you think about jobs you heard about just a couple of years ago. Someone said, I'm an app developer, or I'm a social media manager. You would look at people like they had a horn coming out of their heads. It's like, what is that job? And so that is the kind of change we're going to continue to see. And those are the kinds of jobs that we need to prepare our young people for in the future. With the accelerating pace of social and technological change, the World Economic Forum estimates that 65% of today's children will end up in careers that don't even exist yet. So you're asking, how can we prepare our young people for jobs that we don't even know what they are? But we know what those skill sets are going to be that employers are looking for. And I think we heard from Dr. Beebe the kinds of skills, working together in teams, better communication skills, being agile and ready to change. Those are skill sets that all employers are looking for in their employees. In 2016, Expect More Arizona developed a nonpartisan tool that is a measure of all of our metrics for what we want to achieve in education. And I brought copies, and Mary, maybe you could help me distribute one to each of the members of the board. The progress meter, as many of you have probably seen, will be measuring quality early learning. It will be measuring 3rd grade reading, 8th grade math, high school graduation rate, opportunity youth, which is how many 16 to 24-year-olds in Arizona are not going to school or working, post-high school enrollment, and the attainment number that I talked about with you already about the 60%. On this sheet that's before you, these are the statewide goals up here at the top. And this is currently where we are in Pinal County. So you can see our exact numbers in each of those areas. For Achieve Pinal, this is going to be a guiding tool for us in the work that we are trying to do within Pinal County to to move these numbers to better prepare our kids for college and for success. I'm not gonna go a whole lot into that tonight because it would take a bit longer than I have to speak, but I wanted you to have those numbers because those are current numbers for our progress meter results. Achieve Pinal has been working on several initiatives, and we are in a hurry-up mode because we recognize that we have about 5 to 10 years before some of these jobs are coming into Pinal County. So the first audience we decided to work on is 7th graders. And we met with all superintendents in Pinal County early this year, and we asked them to please start talking about career exploration with 7th graders. We want to move that back earlier to help kids start thinking about different careers and what kind of coursework they can take in high school. So that when they come into your organization, when they come into your school, they'll be trying different classes out to see if they like the career that they think they're going to be interested in. What we did to encourage the superintendents to find support in our communities is we reached out to the business community and we said, reach out and find business leaders who would be willing to come into the classroom and talk to your kids about jobs. See if businesses would invite your kids in so they can see the workplace. They can see what people do in their jobs. Give them a better idea of what they can do before going on to high school. Our next audience that we're working on now is your audience, is the high schoolers. And we have 3 initiatives that we're working on. The first is a parent academy. And we're really hoping that we can reach parents to help parents be part of their children's success team. So parents will better understand what their kids need to accomplish in high school in order to be career ready. Every year, what are those mileposts that their students should be working toward? Also to help them to understand the financial aid process. I don't know if any of you have ever had to complete the FAFSA form, which is the free application for federal student aid. It can bring you to your knees because it has so much information it needs. And for many people, it's very personal information. And parents are sometimes reluctant to fill out that form. But your child must complete that form in order to acquire financial aid. So we really want to try and meet that parent audience so they can be part of their kids' success team. We're also working on college and career fairs for high school students. We're developing a pretty robust list of employers throughout Pinal County, not with only jobs that require a 4-year degree. We know, you probably saw on the front page of today's paper about the need for welders and construction jobs. Those jobs, a two-year degree or a certificate will help kids land those jobs that are great paying jobs. So we want to be able to go into the schools and bring business leaders in so they can tell kids more about this is what these jobs are, this is what you do, these are the requirements to get this job, this is how much money you make, because kids love to hear how much money you'll make when you get that job. And so we are hoping very much to partner with your district as we go forward in implementing that program. The other aspect is we are developing a public relations and marketing plan so that we can get better messaging out to promote workforce information when we have events happening in our region, college and career readiness tips, and we are going to be targeting social media and print media. As you know, we don't have our own TV station in Pinal County. So print media and social media will be 2 tools that we will be targeting for that public relations effort. We just applied for and were accepted for a 1-year AmeriCorps position with the College and Career AmeriCorps program, who we will have working with us for the next year. And so we are looking forward to having this individual help us to reach out to the 17 high schools throughout Pinal County. We're very excited about it, and we know that we have a big job ahead, but as I said, with what we lack in paid staff and funding, we have enthusiasm and a lot of energy, for sure. So that is my presentation. I don't know if any of you have any questions. We would love to remain in touch with you, and I know that Glenda will be our contact to come and work together with you all as we want to implement the parent academies and the college and
Lori, if you wanted more information on the chief now, is there a website or something that we can?
There is, a Chief Pinal is on the Pinal Alliance for Economic Growth website. So you can just, look that up. And we're there, and it has our initiatives there, and contact information for me as well. So we would like to keep you updated on our progress as we move forward. And I thank you for your time and attention tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number C, Melanie Edwards, our curriculum director and instructor, is going to present this to us, our test scores.
All right.
That's what it says.
Well, yes, and as Melanie's coming up, let me first publicly apologize, because this is something we probably should have, I should probably sent these to you and presented these to you before as a governing board, before I was quoted in the paper and have shared all of our scores with the newspaper a few weeks ago. So I wanted to make sure that we put these in our board agenda and that they came to you for public. So you had them.
So I'm just going to very briefly, I've already been given the eye, you know, they always look at me when I come up here like, oh Lord, how long is she going to present? See them nodding, I am not presenting to them. I will tell you, I would like to offer, as maybe Dr. Beebe can set something up, if you'd like more information, we've dug down into the scores, we've looked at cohorts growth, we've looked at specific course content growth, and I can tell you, if you look at the overall for the district, we have grown in every area except for geometry. And so if you look at those summaries, in some cases we grew by 8 to 10%. That's amazing. We grew in places when the state declined as an average percentage score. So I want to share that briefly with all of you to show that we absolutely have grown in many of those categories in English and math. Science right now, we do not have the state science averages. They've not released them. I don't know why they're holding science so tight to their chest, but they have not released anything on science to us. We have about a 15% passing ratio on science, on meets and exceeds, and so we've got some room to move. I will tell you that last week we presented in our PLCs every teacher's AZ Merit, AIMS Science, AZ Merit English and Math scores. So for those current students sitting before them, they have the spring testing results that just occurred. And so those are broken down by students. So if you look at proficiency level 1 through 4, with 3 and 4 being meets and exceeds, 1 and 2 approaching and falls far below, our teachers now can look at those numbers, those proficiency scores for those kids, and they can start to move them where they need to meet or they need to exceed. And so every teacher has that data. We're really excited about that. They have 8th grade data in front of them as well, and I have to say publicly thank you to Dave Griffiths for putting those reports together. That was not easy. Had that been left to me, I'd still be handwriting all of them by student on some kind, he's laughing when he knows this is true, on sticky notes and notebook paper. So it is encouraging. We are not proficient yet, nor is the state. We are moving towards growth, and that's what we're looking at, and right now that's what we have achieved. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what we have to present. If you want more information, both of the principals and Director Tim Hamilton, we've sat down and gone through the data with the staff, and feel really, really good about where we're going and where we're headed.
Any reason for geometry not to?
You know what? We just can't identify what's happened. Honestly, we're working on that, and our geometry PLCs are talking about that. So we're looking at the student data. I can tell you the state fell in geometry, and so we didn't expect to fall overall. Now, I will tell you that as a sites breakdown, there's a little difference there, and you can see that in the report. So you'll actually see areas of growth in at one site, or they maintained. For instance, I don't know, the state, if you go to the very end of this report that Dr. Beebe has posted here, you will see how some of the sites just in certain content areas stayed at 0 growth. It was just a 0, they flatlined.
But if you look over at the state, they also, and I lied to you, I'm sorry, I misled you. The state grew by 4% in geometry, so I apologize for that. Cohort to cohort, our cohorts, if you look at that last line, the 2019 cohort, which is this year's graduating seniors, they actually grew. And so we have some growth from one class to the next. We have some growth in just the content areas, English 9, English 9. We really wanted to look at those students who are in English 9. How did they do then in English 10? How did they grow as a cohort? And we're seeing growth overall, and that's very, very good for our district. We want to see that occur. We want to see that growth. The longer we have them, are they growing? And they are. And so Ms. Hawkins will still be talking about geometry. Obviously, our 4 math teachers have beat themselves up, and they're looking at that data and really drilling down to find out what happened.
Overall, I think it's better than what you were expecting, isn't it?
You know what? We grew. I mean, of course, you know, your teachers will also, they'll always set those student learning objectives and those goals to be high. Our principals do the same thing. We want our kids to just come out of the gate and be higher than the state average and to be superstars. And the reality is, our kids don't take this test seriously. So we have to look then at the data and see, are our kids learning? Because above everything else, are they learning what the state expects them to learn to be proficient in that course? And that's what we're always working on, striving on. So we did see some growth, and we're happy. We're not satisfied, but we're happy about the growth that we did see.
I have a question. They saw some difference between Vista and Union. I mean, some of it's significant, so I'm just wondering, are we putting more attention to address that?
To the differences?
Oh, yeah, so I mean, you look at, the cohort on 19 was 11, plus 11, and a negative 3.
Where, are you in the overall scores, or are you
Yeah.
in math or English?
You're at the very end, right?
At the very end.
At the very end, the very end.
Okay, so the very last one is the math breakdown. But I can tell you, Tony, from year to year, the sites do differently.
Right.
For instance, last year, in the 2016 testing, Vista
Right.
shot off the charts in geometry, right? So we've got our geometry teachers looking closely at what happened. Could be, we don't know, there's a myriad of reasons. Could be a long-term sub, I mean, that's just one. You know, could be that particular cohort came in with some stronger math skills than the prior cohort. So we're looking at all of that. And the math curriculum is the same. So we're teaching, we've got really highly effective teachers in math. Sometimes you've got those, well, every time, those individuals sitting before you, and you can't always anticipate how well they're going to do on that one day, on that one test. You know, it's a snapshot of one moment in time. Yes, we are addressing all of it. And we have our district PLCs that will meet once a month and talk about curriculum revisions and what are we doing, what do we see as our pacing right? How are our kids doing? Are we looking at pre-assessments and benchmark data and all those formatives that we gather feedback on?
I just want to make sure we're utilizing, because we're one district, so I mean, we want to make sure we're utilizing our resources as one, and although we're two separate schools, we're still responsible for the district. So I mean, so if we could utilize, whether it's from Vista or Union or whatever, and make sure we reach out and take advantage of everything.
Well, and that's what, if I might add, that's one of the things we're looking at doing, that Melanie just talked about, as with our PLCs. First and foremost, we make sure that teachers have this data in front of them. They know how their kids did, so we have the knowns. But then we're intentionally, as we do our PLC training, we're intentionally once a month bringing all teachers from the entire district in that content together to meet and talk and plan. So there's some more continuity amongst the different sites on the learning and what's going on with kids, so they can talk to each other. So we're hoping that will help us, and it's a great.
Excellent answer. I want to make sure the word continuity came into effect with our district.
We're looking at that, and we're intentionally devoting one of our trainings a month where that happens. Great, we can bring them all together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 6, items for matters reserved for board action. Number A, ASBA policy revisions, and there are several. So I make a motion to approve as presented.
I second.
Discussion? Right, is it normal to have this many policies on one? I mean, there's a lot of them going through.
The last one was almost this long, and I got this one before the
Who
other
reviewed?
one.
I mean, all the changes and whatnot.
I think the first of the fiscal year, they start reviewing all the policies, and that's when you start seeing all the revisions based on any changes that were made in law or whatever, so.
Okay, so the ASBA is the one that,
Yeah, they're the ones
Yes.
doing all this, yeah.
They drive this, and they send them out for our review as they change.
took me 2 days to kind of, attention span is kind of,
Yes, it's a lot of reading.
yeah. So, no, that's, there's a couple things in there, and I just want to make sure that, I think, evaluations of staff, I think they're, I guess that's another subject, but I didn't see any changes in that, so
We're so good as far as timelines and everything like that, yes, our evaluation. And we have an evaluation committee meeting right now, we're looking at our new evaluation instrument, but our timelines and date and all that is still the same.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Dolzall?
Item number B. Is the data processing service agreement.
I move that
Move
we,
to approve the data processing. Yeah, okay.
I move to approve.
I second.
Discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Dolzall?
Item number C, donations. Approved to accept the following donations as presented. $1,000 from Walmart to the Vista Grande High School Baseball Club. $500 from Fritz Fisher to Vista Grande Drama Department. $100 from Sanders Aiken. And $100 from Robert Church to the Cash Grand Union High School Football Club. $100 from Casa Grande Police Department to Cash Grand Union High School. I don't know what the disposal. Okay. And $2,000 from an anonymous donor to Cash Grand Union High School band. That's a very nice donation. Thank you to all, and thank you to the anonymous donor.
I'd like to make a motion and recognize we very much appreciate them donating to these various causes. Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Dolzall?
Number D, informational reports. Approved to accept the following board informational reports as presented.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Dina, are we within budget?
I'm sorry?
Are we within budget on this stuff?
Yes.
Where we're supposed to be?
Yeah. Probably that's better term.
All right. Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Dolzall?
Item number 7, consent agenda. Is there anything that anybody wants taken off?
I just had one question on one. I want to take on, I guess, in discussion.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
I move to accept consent agenda A through I as read.
okay. Move to approve, well, we're gonna have discussion then, I guess, but we should have removed it, so go ahead. But
No, I was just,
on which item?
no, I just had a question on, C. Okay, and, public, or, let me see here, sorry. On the extra duty appointments. We have quite a few people on detention. Is that
those are just possibles, so they're
Oh,
not
okay.
all going to do it, it's just, they
Oh, I
have
was
to
like,
be, they
wow.
have to be approved in order to be able to do it.
Okay, I just kinda caught my eye, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I just,
We don't have a problem with a lot of the detention going
Yeah,
right now.
it's just covering, you know,
I was gonna
covering
say,
all
we haven't
bases
been
in
told
case.
about it.
Okay, so we can move to approve, items A through I on the consent agenda?
Yeah.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins,
Yes.
Mr. Salcido,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
and Mrs. Dozal.
Yes.
And item number 8, information,
That's just an informational item for the board, that there's no action or anything, it's just for you to be able to see that this is what they have done for time and effort procedure.
Can you give an example of what that would apply to in the school?
The time and effort,
When I read it, it's the money, the grant is, or the funding is for someone who that's all they do is that one particular job?
right, and so it's really making sure that what we're spending the money on and what that employee's job function is, that we are, that they match up, that we're not, you know, we're not using monies to do things that don't fall within that at the same time, that the, you know, the time and effort that the employee is putting in matches up with.
Are we gonna have any issues with that?
Not that I am aware of. We are, you know, we're working diligently through, you know, our audit process, and we're doing everything, so,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
this is something that we had to put out and make informational for you.
item number 9, you sure?
I so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you guys.